there are guys that are crazy vocal, who are awful leaders because you don't want to hear their voice, right? And they're bad at it. It can grate on people if they don't know. There are guys that have been too demanding, who you would, people would point to them and say, like, this guy's a general, right? And like, but behind the scenes, you would say, is this really the leader we want?
In 3 kilometers, take the exit towards Sunshine Road.
I think, like, to me, Kevin Durant's superpower as a leader and as a star is, like, we know exactly who's about.
Yeah.
That guy's about he's about basketball. Yeah. And he's committed to that. He plays the right way.
Yeah.
And, like, it is a pretty, again, talking about narrow focuses. It's a pretty narrow focus.
But it's interesting.
And he's not a firebrand. He's not like a rally around guy.
Chris Paul, his critics will say it was difficult. I see leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Boozer, Beal, and Durant. I see talent. Which one's the leader? You need leadership in the playoffs.
Okay. Sorry, I was like, no, I mean, like, on that team, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I think Devin Booker, I mean, I think that, like, those teams kind of, like...
Who holds people accountable?
Yeah, I think it's Kevin Booker, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. I think they do. I think they just do it, in a way where it's not, you don't grab anybody by the collar, necessarily, right? Like, I think you can, it's sort of, you have to, like, leadership doesn't come in one shape or form. I think you have to go into the situation, right? And especially on a team when you have multiple stars, right? You have, I think, Frank Vogel, who's a very level-headed, like, the right kind of voice on the bench, too, for that group. I don't think you need a screen. I actually think, for what they do, like, laid back probably works a little better.
Finally, and this is really the tipping point of our friendship.
Okay, that's good.
Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell. Now, I have heard reports. These have not been documented. There's rumors that Trae can be difficult to play with.
Yes.
Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, you're a GM, go.
Donovan Mitchell, first, pretty easy, pretty quickly, actually.
Better defender.
In 800 meters, take the exit towards Sunshine Road.
Bigger. Definitely, I've seen him more consistently in bigger moments in the playoffs, right? Having just a phenomenal season, too.
Yeah.
Things we don't really, he is bad.
He's a stronger player and a better defender.
Yeah, and he's just, like, sturdy.
Take the exit towards Sunshine Road.
Sturdy. Right, like, generally speaking, sturdy. Now, I think, the questions I would always have is...
Continue for 1 kilometer.
Like, how does this player impact winning when they don't have the ball? Right? Because that's the thing. If you're going after these guys, right, it's to be complementary stars to something else you already have. I have Trae Young questions, obviously, big questions on the defensive end.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of pride.
And like, he is a good passer, but, like, you do wonder, like, what you mentioned, you do wonder, is sort of like, well, like, where's the disconnect? Guys usually really like good passers. Like, where's the disconnect?
They don't love
and I think it's just like you pound the ball a little bit. Like, this is similar to James Harden, right? And it takes time to figure out how to play around these guys. Do I think there's a better situation out there for Trae Young?
In 400 meters, continue onto Range Road 130A.
Probably.
27 a night.
I mean, the numbers are the numbers. I think it is sort of telling, and is that you look around the league and you look at the people who make these choices, players and coaches, when it comes to things like All-Star. He was a replacement. He wasn't the first choice, despite having, terrific numbers this season. So, like, there's got to be a disconnect there somewhere.
People say he and Quinn Snyder Quinn likes you to play defense.
Watch the player. Yeah, and I mean, look, that situation with DeJounte Murray is strange, and they're splitting point guard duties. I mean, we'll see. He's out 4 weeks now with this injury.
Continue for 8 kilometers.
Injury.
I would have think J-Mac would like Trae Young because you're both gunners, and so I would have thought, don't have much interest in playing defense.
That's right. So get your shots up, right? You miss all the ones you don't take.
Dude, that chair you're in plays better defense than J-Mac. I've heard that from teammates. You don't take a lot of pride in defense. Oh, but that's okay. You can drill the 3.
That's the opposite.
Dan and I are guys.
I'm 3-point line to 3.
That's pretty much what I do.
It's just like, at this point, it's just like trying to keep up attendance intact.
Dan Wojcicki, it's great to see you as always.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. It's good being here.
Oh, it's great being here. All right, we'll take a break. Newsletter.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Herd weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Hey, I'm Doug Gottlieb.
Calm their mind and give them something to focus on.
FL this spring on ABC, ESPN, FS1.
If you're in the SEC or the Big,
Instead, 2023 with the Commanders, it's one of those deals where Eric Bieniemy is a guy we've talked about a lot on this show. He's returning to college football. Set to become the offensive coordinator and associate head coach at UCLA. Instead, 2023 with the Commanders, kind of a disaster there. And the reason I want to open it up to you is because, I don't know, going back to college, like,
I don't know. I think college football, if you're in the SEC or the Big Ten, they are going to dominate college football, those two conferences, for the foreseeable future. I think UCLA needs him. I think UCLA is a good fit. I think college football, it's going to be a little bit like AFC, NFC. I think you're going to have two big conferences dominating. dominating the sport. I think you're going to go to 12 to 16 teams, and the SEC is going to get 5 to 6 in, and the Big Ten is going to get 4 to 5 in. And then you'll have a few sprinkled in, and I don't have a problem with it. Clemson obviously is viable. But
Sometimes
the
in
biggest
life,
brands,
like
I
in
could say,
baseball,
outside of Notre Dame and Clemson,
You need a spark off the bench or a late inning rally to help you win the day.
Recruiting powers are in the Big Ten and the SEC.
Sometimes in
Now,
life,
Notre
like in
Dame and
baseball,
Clemson,
you need a
those are
spark
big brands outside.
You need a spark off the bench or a
You
late
talked
inning
about
rally to help you win the day.
Patrick Mahomes. I
Eno wins, oi ocha,
don't know how to phrase this
unsweetened
without
green tea.
coming off the strange word. Why did Eric the enemy leave Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs?
Well, because he didn't think, I'm guessing, he was getting, he wanted to get away from Andy because he wanted to prove to people, hey, I know y'all think I don't have any say, any control, so I'm going to go to a defensive head coach, and you're going to see what I can do with the offense. Because when you know, Andy casts a big shadow, and so we think Mahomes and Andy Reid, we don't give the coordinator much love because of Andy, and so he's like, hey, I'm going to go to a defensive coach, see what I can do with Sam Howell. By the way, mobility is the name of the game with coaches, so he'll move to UCLA. If UCLA, he's going to be on TV games, getting talked about. UCLA, Michigan, Ohio State, USC, Oregon, Washington, Iowa. He'll get back to the NFL at some point. Or maybe he's a better fit in college.
Sam Howell had like a few moments with the enemy, but there was nothing dynamic or memorable about the enemy's turn in
Well,
Washington.
if you're in a place with legends, Mahomes and Andy Reid are legends, and you're an offensive guy, and everybody sees you as this unimportant kind of cog, you just don't. I understand it. I'm going to go show people, hey, I can do some stuff. And the enemy, I mean, you don't see it. Well, Andy's calling the play.
Eno win, oi ocha,
Didn't just be results oriented.
Eno win, oi ocha,
The process
unsweetened green
matters.
tea. It's the perfect sauce of caffeine to get you through the day and avoid the blue through a long season.
All right, next up, NFL Combine kicks off this week. Yeah,
Every time you drink.
all eyes on the
Available your local
top
Daiso
quarterback
stores, Amazon.
prospects. Jim Williams, James Daniels will be there. They will not throw the
Amazon,
scouts.
eToy.
According to this
Amazon,
report, Bo Nix,
eToy.com.
Penix, JJ McCarthy will participate
Amazon,
in throwing.
eToy.com. That's
It looks like as of now, no report on Drake May and whether or not he'll throw. I'm surprised that Jake Davis is not throwing. Like, did he do enough against? And listen, I know he played in the SEC, but if you look at his stats column, he padded his stats against like crap non-SEC teams. I think he's got something to prove. I'm surprised he's not throwing. Are you?
Quarterbacks don't throw at this thing anymore. I don't know. I'll tell you, this love and fascination for J.J. McCarthy and this disregard for Bo Nix, I want to make a prediction. Bo Nix is going to be pretty good.
Well, wait a minute. You can't do that. We don't know where he's going. Where Bo Nix will
Going
go
to
to.
Denver.
Huh? Yeah, Bo Nix and Sean Payton. You think he's going to fail there? I would say no. Well, J.J. McCarthy goes to Atlanta. Well, he's a chance of failure there. You know, like, that's how it works. Right?
Bo Nix to Denver.
You know, you are friendly with Sean Payton.
I didn't get it from Sean Payton.
So you take Bo Nix over McCarthy.
Yes. I'm in the minority. I would take Bo Nix over J.J. McCarthy.
Who has a higher ceiling, Bo Nix or McCarthy?
I think they're both.
Oh,
I think Caleb and Drake may have.
no, we know that.
Well, I think they're both the same.
Really?
I think they're both capable of winning a playoff game. I think they're both capable guys.
More likely to win a Super Bowl, Bo Nix.
Okay, now you've gone off the deep end.
I'm like drafting thinking that guy can win me a playoff
I have
game.
not seen them play a pro game. Can I scale back on that?
J.J. McCarthy just won a natty.
Jim Harbaugh, best defense, run game, O-line, 19
It
pros.
is interesting how this works out. You know,
I think Bo Nix is now being under-discussed and J.J. McCarthy's being over-discussed. Now, my take is they may be very similar as prospects, but it's interesting to watch people fall in love with J.J. McCarthy, who played with much better players than Bo Nix did at Oregon. Jim Harbaugh and Dan Lenning, and I like Dan. But I mean, Michigan beats Alabama. Michigan throttles Washington. Michigan has throttled Ohio State.
Yeah, there was McCarthy's
Michigan
record,
is stacked.
right, but McCarthy's record is like 27-1 or something insane. Like,
Okay.
he's just a winner. I know it sounds lame to say.
Well, I mean, he's a winner. Everybody when Steve Spurrier was in Florida, funny, they were all winners. Danny were a winner. Everybody in Georgia is a winner. That doesn't mean anything to me.
The one thing that meant something to me when I went to the combine was the guy said, it's not what you are, it's what you can be. And I don't think we know what J.J. McCarthy can be because he was limited with Michigan, right? We've seen Bo Nix throw the ball all over the field for like 5 seasons, 60-plus starts. I think we know what he can.
That's fair.
We've seen the best of Bo Nix.
Well, I think that's a fair opinion. J.J. McCarthy, there's a little more to unravel. I think that's totally fair.
Okay.
I just think Bo Nix is like we've kind of thrown him to the back of the pile. And I'm like, he ends up in Denver, he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Final story is the Bengals announced they're going to use the franchise tag on T. Higgins. Big one for Black Joe Burrow, getting to keep the combo of Chase and Higgins together. Higgins was a 2020 second-round pick. He's going to hit free agency. They do have until July 15th to come to a long-term agreement. If not, Higgins will make about $21.8 million in 2024. So one elite receiver off the table.
Probably the best receiver combo, Debo, Ayuk, or Higgins, Jamar Chase. Although I will tell you, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, pretty good.
So I have the belief, I'm not producing tomorrow's show for you yet, but Justin Jefferson, there is growing chatter about Justin Jefferson in a potential trade out of Minnesota. You were asking me,
I've told you I would consider
but
it.
it's not from the usual suspects who are like at NFL Network and ESPN, and I know they're sometimes
Well, who are the suspects?
He's a reporter in Minnesota. So where's he getting that from? Team? Certainly not the agent.
He's probably getting it from the team. Again, I think this is a stacked. There's going to be 10 receivers taken, my guess is, by the end of the second round. None of them may be Justin Jefferson. But if you could give me a first and 2 seconds, and I could get 80% of Justin Jefferson in the draft, and a first and 2 seconds, I get 4 starters, you have to consider that. And Jordan Addison and their tight end are both excellent players.
But give me landing spots for JJ. Like, who are the guys?
New England. They can't draft
They're
him.
on the quarterback.
Well, Mac Jones.
This would be a downgrade for Justin Jefferson. He'd probably be ticked off to go. I go from Kirk Cousins, and I'm the man.
You shifted the argument to how happy he's going to be traded.
Well, remember, he's got to want to sign a long-term deal with you, right? I mean, I guess you could tag him, but I just thought this. Houston Texans.
That's interesting. I like that. I like
Quarterback on a rookie deal.
No, I like that. That's good. That's a good one. Houston Texans is very interesting. Now, I still think their roster's a little bit in the rebuild stage. I don't know how many draft picks they'd want to get.
Yeah.
But I think that, Tank Dell, their tight ends are free
Nico
agents. Is he coming
Collins.
back?
Yeah, Dalton Schultz, I think, is a free agent.
I think he's a free agent. Nico Collins coming back. Tank Dell, Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
With CJ Stroud? That's
No.
ridiculous. Offensively. That's firepower.
Let's root for that.
The other one is the Colts. I'm keeping an eye on you.
In 300 meters, you will arrive at your destination.
So I'm keeping an eye on the Indianapolis Colts. Quarterback on a rookie deal. Anthony Richardson. Bro, Anthony Richardson getting 70-yard bombs to Justin Jefferson. Like, with Pittman, I like that.
If I was Jefferson, though, I'd rather go to Houston because I think C.J. Stroud is a proven accurate deliverer of the football. Anthony Richardson.
I'm going to say two words. Shane Steichen. I want to be in the Shane Steichen business.
I worry about the health of Anthony if he's going to move around like that. C.J. Stroud is a pocket guy.
He had bad concussion against
You have arrived.
concussion against the Jets. I mean, he missed a couple games.
Well, some of that's O-line.
Fair.
J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
See that? The NFL salary cap rises $31 million. That's the largest jump since the salary cap was introduced 30 years ago. Most of it because of the new TV deal, so that's not going to go away. So they're just going to, this is just going to keep going. It's not a one-off. But the footprint of the NFL is so big. So basically, you get the season, that's like 21 weeks.
Big
Then you
parking
take
lot.
a week off, 2 weeks off. Then it's combine, free agency, draft, minicamp OTAs, watch NBA playoff basketball for 6-7 weeks, then you're back to the NFL. It's
Minus
well run.
20 degrees.
Contractually, you don't get stuck in these
Fucking
never-ending
cold.
baseball contracts you can't get out of. Player empowerment isn't the be-all, end-all like the NBA. Players do very well, but you just don't. The NFL does a good job to not trap teams. Sometimes in baseball and basketball, teams get trapped paying enormous salaries for 7-8 years to pretty average players. Plus, I mean, the NFL's feeder system. I mean, last year the top 4 picks in the NBA draft came from 4 different leagues. I don't know where the players are playing. NFL, I get them from Alabama, Ohio State, USC, Oklahoma, Texas, Michigan. Not going away, only getting bigger. See you tomorrow.
For all the parents out there, picture that it's bedtime. You and the kids have been busy all day. You know they're tired, but for some reason they just won't go to sleep. And for this reason, I created the podcast Bedtime History. Bedtime History is a series of relaxing history stories that end with an inspirational message. With over 2,000 positive parent reviews, Bedtime History is one of the top education podcasts. Join me and listen to Bedtime History